You're listening to the Post-Apocalyptic Media Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the 61st episode of the Post-Apocalyptic Media Podcast. I'm your host, Shawn. I'm the senior editor here at post-apocalyptic.com. And today I am joined by Tina. How you doing, Tina?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Yeah, I'm great. We have some good stuff to talk about. And I'm excited to have you here because we can talk about what we've been doing, what we've been playing and watching and reading and all that stuff, which, when I have that conversation with myself, it's never as fun. So it's good to have someone else here. So let's get into that. Let's get into what have you been doing, consuming media-wise this week?
Well, I have been writing posts about Snowpiercer Season 3. So that's been a lot of fun to watch. The second episode, I was kind of like, I don't know. And then this third episode, which I just watched last night because I'm in Canada, so I have to wait an extra day. I really liked that. So it seems like it's going back to where the proper trajectory that it should have been taking, in my opinion.
Yeah, it seems like they do that every season. And I think you mentioned it in your write-up where usually they wait a little while to do that, have the filler episodes, and it seemed like they did it right away in this one.
I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to drag out the kind of whole plot the first 3 episodes kind of took on. I'm trying not to drop spoilers, but maybe they didn't want to have that take up like half the whole season. Yeah. I don't even know how long the season's even going to be though. Like, I don't know if it's 8 episodes or 12 or what.
I think they're usually about 10. Somewhere in there, so hopefully, yeah. I enjoy the show. I haven't caught up in this latest episode, but I really enjoyed it the first couple seasons. And I don't know, I'm just excited to see where they're going to go. I want to see again, no spoilers, but I just want to see where they can go from here, because it's like, you can only ride around on a train for so long. So then what do you do? Yeah. So
exactly. I think it definitely seems like they're trying to like give them a kind of a destination at this point. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens there. And there's some new characters, quote unquote, are people taking up a bit more, space in the show and stuff. And there's some interesting dynamics happening. And I have a new ship on the show and I'm very excited about it because I can't watch a show without at least shipping 2 characters together. So.
That's cool. Oh, cool. Well, anything else you've been up to?
Not really. I just dropped a review last week for that Stars and Bones book, which wasn't really apocalyptic, but it dealt with like an abandoned Earth kind of concept. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm trying to think of what I was reading something in a couple weeks, and now I can't remember. It'll come back to me in my brain.
That's the problem with just consuming so much of the stuff. It's like, which one was that again? Was that the movie? Sometimes I'll do that with books where I'll be like, was I watching that? Or was that a movie or was I reading that?
Exactly.
Which I guess it's an indication of a good book if you think you were watching
exactly.
it.
Yeah. If you can kind of picture it in your head, then yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, I haven't really been watching anything, post-apocalyptic, but I've been reading. I went back and I found this old. Well, actually, I was cleaning out my bookshelves. And I found this old book called Wastelands, which is an anthology of post-apocalyptic short stories.
I have that too.
Oh, do you? Awesome. Do you like it?
I did like it. Yeah, I think I loved like at least half of them I loved, and then I think there's only a couple I wasn't super into.
Yeah, I mean, it has like an all-star cast. It has like George R.R. Martin, Stephen King, Octavia Butler, Orson Scott Card. I mean, it has a lot of big names who kind of got together. And I think this is from 2008. So it's a few years old. I read it probably when it came out, and then so it's been a while, and I started reading it again. I'm about halfway through. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it's got some really great stories, but it's like you said, there are a few of them that kind of lack. The one I'm reading right now is Cory Doctorow, his When Sysadmins Rule the World or something like that. And that one I thought was pretty interesting. But yeah, it's been a while since I read it. I figured I'd go back, and I really did forget a lot of these. I'm reading them, and it feels like the first time. But there's a part 2 also, which I don't have, Wastelands 2.
I didn't know there was a part 2.
Yeah, and I don't know anything really about it. I've seen it on Amazon. I think it's on my Amazon wish list for like the last 10 years. But Yeah, I hope to get that one day. That would be cool. But I love anthology books, like little short story books like that.
That's funny that you mentioned that one because I actually just grabbed it from my shelf and I put little check marks apparently against the ones that were my favorite, and that was one of the ones I check marked. So
Oh,
I don't
cool.
remember. Is that one the one that was set in Toronto?
Yeah, it is.
That must have been why I think he's Canadian, so I was
Yeah.
like, that probably was why I was like, ooh.
He's the guy.
But no, it was
Cory
good.
Doctorow is the guy who made Boing Boing, that website from like
Yeah.
15 years ago. So he's also an author. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and as far, I guess that's it. Like, I'm trying to think of any shows I've been watching, and, just kids shows don't count. So watching shows with the kids. There's no post-apocalyptic SpongeBob, so I haven't, that's pretty much all I've been watching.
I'm working on an article of different like shows you can watch with kids that are post-apocalyptic themed. So
Oh, perfect. Look at that.
yeah.
Look at that
If you
segue.
think of it, you send them to me too because I I have like 10 that I was like, oh yeah, this one. Oh yeah, this one. So
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good idea. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the news then. We have a couple goodies here. This first one is they have found they've announced a couple of the cast members in the new Tales of the Walking Dead anthology series. Here, talking about anthologies, and here we have one. Tales of the Walking Dead is going to be this series that's each episode is going to be its own story. And I don't know for sure. I don't know if they're going to do if they're going to have like different actors in each one, or if they're going to do like American Horror Story, how it has the same actors and they just play different roles in each one. I don't know how they're going to do it. Because
kind of like Black Mirror.
Yeah.
How they had different, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to do it like that, because they have announced some pretty big names, like Terry Crews, who's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I love that show.
The show's so good.
Yeah. And then Parker Posey, she plays Dr. Smith in Lost in Space. And then a couple other ones. Oh, Anthony Edwards, who is in ER, Top Gun, stuff like that. Jillian Bell, she does voices in Bob's Burgers, American Dad. So yeah, they have a couple big names, it seems like. And to announce these big names are they each going to be in their own episode? I don't know.
And like you said, it was going to be a comedy almost, some episodes, right?
Yeah, that's another thing.
I'm interested in that actually, because there wasn't a lot of humor in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, and they've said before that they're going to make a comedy spinoff. So I wonder if that's what this is. If this is because they said kind of separately, we're going to make an anthology, and then they also said we're going to make a comedy. So it's maybe this is it. Maybe this is it together.
I would totally watch that because. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was going to say, like, especially with Jillian Bell, like she's a comedian. So
what was that? Oh, what's it called? That zombie show that started off like a regular zombie show and then completely devolved into like an absurd comedy show. What's it called?
Was that Z Nation?
It had that guy who was blue.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, what was it called?
I don't remember. I know what you're talking
My
about.
brain doesn't work, as I said before. But yeah, like that one was that was like the only comedy other than Shaun of the Dead, really, that I can think of that's a comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably other ones that are just not.
I think Z Nation tried to be a little silly.
That was what it was.
Was it? Okay, yeah.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, that I don't even. Yeah, it was kind of a comedy, but it was, like you said, it kind of went a little off the rails.
There's like a giant ball of cheese that like ran over the zombies that kept like, and to be honest, I thought that was kind of funny, but it was so ridiculous. Like I was like, this is so stupid.
Yeah, that's might be too much, but I think it's cool that they've announced these cast members. So far, that's all we know so far.
Is Terry Crews going to talk in third person like he does in Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I hope so.
You'll be obsessed with yogurt as well. It's just the same character that just put zombies around him.
Yeah. Every show he's ever been in, it's just you see him and you're like, oh, this is gonna be good. Yeah. Terry Crews. Okay, so next little bit of news. This is Crossout. The game Crossout has been out for a few years. I think 2015. I think it came out in beta. I absolutely love that game. It's pretty much you build vehicles and you customize them and then you battle them against each other. It's like, World of Tanks or one of those kind of games. And what's fun about it is the customization is just outrageous. You can take all these different parts and you just stick them together, on the vehicle and just however you want to do it. You can put fenders in the front. You can put wheels all over the place, but you also have to balance it. Like there's a center of gravity.
Oh.
You have to worry about where your weapons are, because when they fire, like if you have a big weapon, it'll actually throw it off balance, and really some pretty cool like physics parts of the game. Well,
that sounds super cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's actually really cool. Well, now they brought it to mobile a while back to Russia, because it's a Russian game, Russian developer. So Russia's had the mobile version for a while. Well, now they're finally bringing it to North America and Europe, the rest of Europe. And this is big news, because I think a lot of the players, of the the original game are in North America and Europe. So they have it on consoles now. They have an Xbox, PlayStation 4, 5, all that. And then they also, PC, of course, that's where it started. But now it's actually on Android, and it's coming, I think on Friday, it's coming to iOS. So they're really expanding quite a bit. And that's exciting to me, because
I would totally get to download it right now.
Yeah, it's actually
that sounds
free.
like a blast.
It's a free game.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll have like, buy, spend $5 to get extra weapons or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes I'll splurge on those things.
Yeah,
I try not to.
With that. Yeah, it's a free game, but yeah, there's a lot of cash shop stuff that you can get. And there's also, you don't have to play against other players. You can play like a PvE type of thing where you fight against like robot cars,
Yeah, like AIs or whatever.
Yeah, and so that's fun too. It's not as fun, and I think you actually get more points, like a higher score and levels and stuff when you fight against other players. But it's definitely
that makes
fun.
sense. They're harder to figure out sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, and they are. Like I actually stopped playing it a while ago, but when I played it, it was, a lot of people who just have everything down to a science. And they, you try to play against them, and here I am, this old man, like trying to.
It's probably some 14-year-old.
Yeah, and he's just annihilating me in 1 second. I'm like, okay, well.
It's like me trying to play Halo. It's like everyone just kills me.
Yeah,
I literally play like once a month, because that's the only time I get, and I'm like, I suck, but it's still fun.
Yeah. You're like, these kids.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, they're so good. My brother's like, hey, you want to play this? And I'm like, no, you want to play at 2 a.m. I don't have the time for that.
Yeah, that's true.
He's 17, so.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's get into, let's see. So I have another article I wrote about I'm trying to do this every month. Well, hopefully. It's Kickstarter campaigns that are post-apocalyptic. And I keep finding a lot of them. Like when I do a search, I'll find just tons and tons of them. So that's good for the genre,
Mm-hmm.
It means that we're continuously pumping out more stuff. But with Kickstarter, it's kind of, hit or miss. There's some good stuff, there's some incredible stuff, and then there's some stuff that literally, so not to make fun of this one, but there's this one on my list, number 10, which seems like a good idea. It's called Junkyard Monsters. And I did this top 10 in reverse order, but the 10th one, it's basically a description of what this person wants to make in the game, and then a couple like pencil drawings, and that's it. And I understand like they want to start out and they want to get funding and all that, but like, man, you gotta put more than that into it. So that's why that's like my 10th one. It's cool. It's a cool idea, but we just don't know what's going on with it. But then once you get through, there's some games on here, there's some comics, there's some graphic novel, and then you get toward the top 2 are both tabletop games. And
is that the Thunder Road one, or no, that's near the end?
Well, yeah, Thunder Road is my second, Thunder Road Vendetta, and then Reckland Run is the other one, my number 1. And
those sound super cool.
Yeah, I love car games, and I love like car tabletop games. And Thunder Road was actually a game I used to play when I was a kid. This isn't this is like a part 2, like a sequel. This isn't a remake.
It's saying 1986 was when the first one came out.
Yeah, I was 11 in 1986, so that was like my, that was exactly when I would play, right, prime age right there.
Yeah, I was 1, so I probably was not, but
But yeah, I loved that game. It was really fun. It was very Mad Max, and I was, just a huge Mad Max fan back then, and still am. And so Thunder Road, they said at first when they announced that they were going to do this Kickstarter, they said that it was going to be, a lot of people, I guess, assumed that it was going to be a remake of the original. But then they came out and they said, no, it's actually going to be a sequel, a little bit different gameplay. It does have a lot of the same elements, but it's definitely different. But that's my number 2, because number 1 is Recland Run, and this is a game that looks incredible. It's a solo game though; you can't play it with other people.
Oh,
That's kind of a bummer, but it's still the same thing. And the art style is absolutely amazing. Everything about this game looks really great. And what's crazy is I got an email. I set myself to watch this game for when it comes out, for when it hits Kickstarter. I had a alert set up for it because I heard about it on YouTube. And so I got the email. I, jump over to Kickstarter. I'm like, okay, I got to see. And it's just getting funded like crazy. And right now at this moment, it's 1,800% funded.
Oh my God.
And so they only wanted $5,000 to make this, and it's up to $90,000 and that's in one day.
That's crazy.
It doesn't end
That's
until
awesome. It looks really cool. I'm just kind of scrolling through it right now.
Oh yeah, I think it's gorgeous. It looks like a really fun game. So that one, of course, I pledged to. I went ahead and I supported this game because I can't wait to play that. So I think maybe once I get it, maybe I'll do like some kind of video or unboxing or whatever they do.
You said it's a one-player game?
Yeah. It says it's a solo game.
Huh.
So
interesting. I've never heard of that for a. I'm not a big board game person.
Yeah.
I do like them.
There was another
to be honest,
game.
It's my husband. He does not like them, so I can never convince him to play.
Oh yeah. I could see. And we try to play a lot of board games here at the house, and we mostly play like Catan, and those kind of games, which I love.
I play that with my sisters a lot. My kids are too young, but I think when they get older, they definitely will start playing more. And my husband will just have to suck it up and just deal with it. Because she already can play Trouble. She's 4 and she likes that one. So.
Oh, nice.
I mean, you just press the dice and it goes. So.
Yeah, my son is 8 and he can understand Catan pretty well. So only a couple more years. Right?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, let me get some cool games going here.
Yeah. But yeah, it's weird because I actually bought another game last year from a Kickstarter campaign called Radlands. And I totally missed the part where it said that was a solo game. So when I got it, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a solo game. It's fun, but, it's just can't play it with the family. But yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I think it'll be, it's definitely a hit already. I mean, 1,800% funded in a day. So I'm excited to see how far it goes. I mean, it's almost to $100,000 right now. I mean, how far can it go? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to spend the money on, I guess? Advertising?
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably, that's a good idea.
It's one of those problems that I'm sure every Kickstarter, person would, who starts a project like this would love to have.
Yeah.
Which is like, what do we do for stretch goals? What can we offer for stretch goals? So that's what they're probably
maybe make it a 2-player game.
Yeah, there you go. Double the amount of players. Yeah. All right. Let's see. We have this next little bit of news is about the Oscar nominees for 2022, the post-apocalyptic ones. Now we do have three movies that are going to be nominated, at least nominated. Now the awards ceremony itself doesn't come on until the 27th of March, so that's it's more than a month away. But they did announce the nominees now, so that's pretty cool. So we have Don't Look Up, which is the Netflix original movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. Did you see that?
No. I kept meaning to. It was on my list of things, and I just kind of. I will now, I guess. It's
pretty good. It's
Is it?
Yeah, I liked it. I think it has. It's silly. It's like they're. This isn't a spoiler or anything, but they're these two scientists, and they're trying to warn people that there's an asteroid coming, and they're saying, we know. We've measured the trajectory, and we know that this thing is coming straight for Earth. We all have to do something about it, but no one believes them. So
what?
Yeah, so they go to the president, and the president's like, yeah, whatever, and then they go they go on TV. I mean, it's funny because it's kind of like I could see this happening. That they go on TV, and there's these newscasters, and they do their newscasty joke things and stuff, but they don't really think that they're serious. And so the whole movie is them trying to convince everyone, and then at the end, of course, it hits the Earth, and it's a really great ending, I think, because it shows. Well, I won't spoil it, but it goes through. it just goes through kind of, you have to think, what would I do if I knew that there was an asteroid coming to hit the Earth? Like, they can see it at the end, and that's why it's called.
There was that movie years ago with, I can't remember, but it dealt with that. But it was like a very serious kind of artsy movie. I think.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Who was in it? I'm gonna have to look it up. But yeah, that similar kind of idea. But they're not scientists. They just, everyone knows this like thing is coming, and they have like a week left or something, and then they decide. So it's people like wrestling with like, what do you do when you have like, you only have like 5 days left to live, kind of thing. So it was. I'll try to find the title for you.
Yeah, I think that stuff's interesting, and I think even though this is kind of a comedy, like it's a silly show. It has like Jonah Hill in it, and he's. He's kind of the comedy relief, but
so it is a comedy.
Kind of like it has. It's like an ironic comedy. It's like a satire, pretty much. What they're doing is they're making fun of the way people would actually react in a situation like this.
That'd be funny.
And so, yeah, I mean, because it has the people who are like, hey, we have an asteroid coming. Eventually they start believing them. But then there's a whole other group of people, which is what the name of the show is, Don't Look Up. There's this whole group of people who are like, if you don't look up, then you don't have to be worried about the fear mongering of this asteroid coming. So they're just literally not looking up. It's like, what? Yeah, it's funny, but it's very satire. Yeah.
I found the title of that other one I was talking about. It's from it's the year. Oh, jeez. 2012, and it's called Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. And it's Steve Carell and Keira Knightley.
Yes, I love that movie.
So it's like a romantic comedy drama thing. Yeah, but it was I found it was very like slow and kind of sad, but I liked it.
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah, I didn't even think about that being
very
similar.
Because I mean, same kind of thing. Other stories coming and stuff like that. I guess it's less of a comedy, I think.
yeah. Although it has Steve Carell, but yeah.
Right, doing one of his like kind of serious roles. He did that thing for a while where I think Will Ferrell did it too, where they did like a bunch of serious movies.
Yeah. And then they realized that was a mistake, and
yeah.
The thing with Steve Carell though is that when you see him doing that, you're like, is he joking? I can't tell.
You can't tell, yeah.
All right, the next another movie that's nominated is The Mitchells versus the Machines. Did you see that?
Hey! Oh, I adore that movie. We watched that movie a lot in the house. I still love Doug the Pug. He's so cute. I used to get like his calendar. And he does the voice of the dog, like the pug. I'm not sure how you do a voice of a pug, but he just snorts and coughs, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
And you have a pug, right?
I do have a pug. Yeah.
So that hits home for you there.
Exactly. Yeah. He's like, every time they're laughing about him being like a loaf of bread or a dog, I'm like, yeah, I look over. I'm like, yeah, I understand. Mine has one eye though, my dog.
Oh, okay. I do love this movie. I remember I told Derek and Stephanie about it, and I said my kids love it and everything, and then they checked it out and they said, wow, that was a really good movie. I really liked it. And that's being nominated for Best Animated Feature Film.
I hope it wins because it's so good.
Yeah. What's crazy though is there's so many. I don't know what the other nominees in that category are, but there are so many great animated movies that came out last year, like Encanto.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
A couple other ones, but so it's going to be tough competition. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if it's going up against like Disney, and not to say that this does happen, but I'm not sure how many like palms are being greased behind the signs in the Oscars. You know what I mean? Like Disney's got a lot of money.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And those songs are so catchy in Encanto. Like, I'm constantly singing that Bruno song.
Oh yeah.
I can't get it out of my head. It's popular here with my 4-year-old, of course. So.
Yeah, I imagine. And then of course there's Dune. Dune is nominated for a ton of stuff. I think it looks like probably about 10 different things, maybe 8 or 10 different things, but from best costumes to best screenplay, adapted screenplay from the book, film editing, and then best picture. They're also, and Don't Look Up is nominated for best picture too. But yeah, so Dune, of course, based on the 1965 Frank Herbert novel. Mm-hmm. It was done in 1984. They made a movie.
With Sting.
With Sting. I was just going to say with Sting. That's what everybody remembers. Everyone's like, yeah, I don't remember anyone in that. Oh, yeah, Sting. Yeah, he was in that.
Sting all greased up for his fight. I've seen the movie many, many times.
Yeah.
Not because of Sting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's a good movie, though. And it did get a little bit of flack because, I don't know, hardcore Dune fans, I guess, didn't. I don't know. It's hard to any hardcore fan of anything is gonna pick apart anything. So it's hard.
Oh yeah, like on my YouTube channel where I talk about books, I talked about Dune, and I talked about I mean, I love Dune. I love the book. Let me say that. But I was talking about kind of how the women were treated in the book because it was 1984 when it was written, or 81 or whatever. And I was like, some things, and then everyone in the comments was like going off on me. I'm like, I'm not allowed to critique something, I guess. And it's not even a critique. It was just a comment. Like it was like one comment. I'm like, I think the last line of the book is reductive. And then, oh my God.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
So funny.
So did you like this new movie?
I did like it. I liked it a lot. It wasn't my favorite movie of the year, but I definitely enjoyed it. I thought it was beautifully done. I loved all the fight scenes. I saw it in the theater. And obviously, I guess it's not out yet in streaming or whatever people use now.
Yeah. It was on HBO Max, I think.
Oh, right, because you could either go to the theater or you could watch it on HBO Max. And no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with the second half. I'm hoping there's more battles, because I found in the book the last battle is very kind of skipped over almost. I hope they give us a bit more battle.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And I hope they give his what's her name, Zendaya, her character, a bit more to do. In the book, she kind of trails off after that kind of scene she has in the movie. But I hope they kind of give her a bit more. Yeah,
they were talking about that even though in the book she didn't have a big role, they were going to make it, kind of make a big role for her in the movie.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
I mean, there's space for it.
Yeah.
I mean, all Dune has is space. Sorry, that was a dumb joke.
Sci-fi joke, right?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, I wish all of these movies, the best of luck. I'd love to see them win at least a couple of these. I mean, Dune, it has so many different nominations. It's bound to win something, but I want to see Mitchells vs. Machines win that best animated feature too.
That'd be amazing. Yeah. I would love it. Like, we watched that one more than Encanto around here. Yeah. But also, I mean, it was funny because when we first saw it, we put it on for my daughter, and then she kind of like wandered away, and my husband and I were just like, I'm gonna keep watching this because this movie is awesome.
Yeah.
And the part at the end where the mother fights, I was like, this part's so good.
All right, let's okay, so this next little bit here, I just wrote a YouTube roundup today, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Now, I usually like to talk about these. This one had a lot of short films in it, and I like to feature those. I think that when people put those short films on YouTube, they should be, there should be attention drawn to these. There's one that really caught my eye, and it's a full movie. It's a low budget movie, but they put the full movie on YouTube. I'm sure it won't last because this usually happens. They'll get taken down. But it's called Ozland, Ozland.
I've heard of this.
And at first I was like, and it was from 2015. At first I thought, well, is it like an Australian? Like they call it Oz. Yeah. But it's actually about Wizard of Oz. It's about these two guys after the world ends, they find a copy of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and they treat it like a holy book. They think that what happened in this book was real, and they think that all of that was like, some kind of spiritual thing. And so and it's just a short movie, but I find that really interesting. It's a really cool premise, I think.
That is really cool. I really like when like post-apocalyptic societies find stuff from the past and try to like figure out what it is, or like use it for like different reasons. I find that a really like fascinating concept. I love when books and movies do that.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is, speaking of that, and actually going back to the Wastelands book, that anthology, the Cory Doctorow book, the short story he did, has a lot of throwbacks to things that were popular in 2008, which I think is funny, like talking about MySpace and LiveJournal. And he's like, yeah, like the world ended, and he's like, we got to check LiveJournal, see if it's still up. And I'm like, LiveJournal, wow.
LiveJournal. Kids today won't even know what that is.
Yeah.
I barely know what it is. I was like on the periphery of that.
Yeah. I was actually, I didn't really participate in it, which is a good thing, because man, it's like Facebook now. I have like little cousins who write their entire life story on Facebook, and it's like, man, I'm glad they didn't have that when I was a kid.
Oh, I say that so much because Facebook. I started joining Facebook when I was in university, when it was only for university students.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm like, oh, I'm so glad it wasn't there when I was in high school. Even my university pictures I've gone through, I'm like, oh my God, delete.
Yeah.
Like, no one needs these pictures of me drinking at the bar at 22.
Yeah.
Why did I post these?
But the rest of this roundup has some pretty good, like little short films, some gameplay videos. But there's one in here for a game. Let's see if I can find it. It's called Karagon, something like that. And it's a survival game that really, it kind of caught my attention because I love survival games. I play the heck out of Icarus and things like that. And this is the thing that really drew me in about this is the fact that you can blow up robots. It's post-apocalyptic. You can blow up robots, take their parts, and make new stuff out of it. So you can make new robots. And you need the parts to build other stuff in it too. So I'm like, and it's a free demo on Steam right now. So I said, I'm going to download this. And so earlier today, actually right before we started recording, I streamed it. I just jumped on Twitch, our Twitch channel, and I streamed about an hour and a half of it. What's funny though, so it's a demo. It's super, super early access. It doesn't have a lot of features yet. But you can play in it. There's the robots in it. You can get their parts. You can craft and all that stuff. Well, so the developer, I guess it's just one guy who's developing it. It's, super low budget. He jumped in the Twitch channel in the chat, and he was like, so I'm sitting there like, I can't figure this out. And he's like, try this. And I recognize his name because I joined their Discord. And I was like, okay, well now that, the developer's watching, he's, I'm like his play tester right now, like live play tester. So I'm just fumbling around this game, and I just feel like an idiot because I'm not, figuring out how to do the basic stuff. And then he's telling me, well, you have to upgrade this, and then you can go on and do this part. And I'm like, oh, of course, yeah. So it's like
your own personal tech support.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the guy who made it.
Built-in guide.
Yeah. So that was fun, but it looks like a fun game. It's, like I said, it's a free demo right now on Steam. He says to join the Discord if you're interested in it, and then you can, talk about like what kind of features you'd like to see in it and that stuff. And I don't know, it looks pretty cool. It's in the Unreal 5 engine,
okay.
So it's really gorgeous.
Really
cool.
You said it's called Karagon?
Yeah, it's Karagon. Yeah. And he says that it won't be free, once the game is done and released and all that, of course. But right now, the little demo is free, and it's kind of gated. There's areas you can't go in yet, so it's just a demo. But you get the general idea of the game, which is pretty cool.
That sounds like fun. I would totally try that out.
Yeah, and it's hard. Like I'm stumbling around it, but I keep coming across these robots that kill me, and then you lose everything. You lose all your stuff, and then you get warp back to the beginning. You have to start over. Now you can go get your stuff from where you died, but it's guarded by robots, so it's pretty tough. It's a pretty hardcore game. But
it was like that game, that live one where when you got killed you just lost all your stuff from a few years ago. What the heck was it called?
Those are always they're frustrating, but they're kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. We do have one more little bit of news here. This is actually, speaking of Don't Look Up and the asteroid heading toward the Earth. There is an asteroid heading toward Earth. No, it's not. It's not. It's actually not supposed to hit Earth, but it has entered. Good. Yeah, that's good news. And it's not that I don't believe it. It's not like scientists are trying to tell me and I'm saying, no, you're kidding. But scientists are saying it's not. They're saying it's going to enter the orbit, and we're going to see it like every 80 years or whatever it is. It's going to keep coming around, but it's not actually going to, be close enough. It's like 2 million miles away. Like it's crazy how far away it is.
Yeah.
But in space terms, you can still see it. You can see an asteroid that close, and because it's 4,000 feet wide, I guess.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Do they know where it came from?
No, that's a good question. I think that
aliens.
Yeah, it's aliens. Yeah,
spaceship. It's a spaceship. I'm calling it.
There's probably some like sport out there where aliens are throwing asteroids at us, like
Starship Troopers. They're just whipping the crap at us.
Yeah. It's like intergalactic pool, and they're trying to hit us with the asteroids. But yeah, no one has hit us yet, so that's good. But you know what's crazy is we've had so many of these near misses lately, and near meaning 2 million miles away.
Yeah.
That NASA has actually set up a website where you can track things that are coming around our orbit, which is pretty intense, I think, to be able to sit there and like watch, the things that are orbiting around in our solar system. But
I wonder how much funding they're getting too from like outside companies like Elon Musk company and stuff because of like how an asteroid could affect their like satellites and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Because like if one came and even a piece of it just shattered a satellite, that would be a problem for them. So I wonder how much of that is like not just like for science sake, but to like protect their assets in space.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm very cynical.
No, that's a good point. It's like there's a lot of money out there floating around.
Eventually, you have to build like little plasma guns to blast them away.
Yeah, or like
it'll be like WALL-E. We'll just be covered in satellites.
Yeah, or they'll have to hire like Bruce Willis to fly out there and save the day.
He's like 70 now, isn't he?
He's probably older than that.
I think so.
Yeah. Bruce Willis, can you save us? He'll be like, I am 70 years old.
He's like, get Ben Affleck to do it.
Yeah. Get Will Smith to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will Smith, he's got to be like in his 50s by now, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting old. Just thinking about it.
Yeah, I thought you were my age. I'm like, oh, you're like 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
I still feel old.
Yeah. So yeah, asteroids could be, we're joking about it, but if it's one of those things that actually hit the Earth, of course, even the smallest thing, that's what I find fascinating. Even the smallest little, a couple feet wide could do some major damage to the Earth. So
I visited in Arizona. Was it Arizona or New Mexico? There's this crater called Meteor Crater.
Oh yeah, that's
Arizona. You live near there, right? Yeah. And so we drove down there one time from Canada. It was a long drive, and we visited it, and it was so cool because it's one of the only ones on the Earth that's like not underwater, that you can actually see the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was just. I took pictures of it. The pictures just look like a stupid hole. Like it doesn't. You'd like to see it in person. You're just like, wow. It's like the Grand Canyon. You're like just blown away by it. It's really interesting. And apparently it's owned by like a private company.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, like this hole in the ground. So
I went there a couple years ago, and I
you did? Oh, cool.
Yeah, I find it interesting that they have it's like blocked off. Like you can't see it. You're like, well, I could probably go a little while, little ways away and still see it. No, because the sides go up so high, you have to drive up to the like visitor center thing, pay them money, and then they'll take you out to see it.
This hole.
Yeah.
And then you watch their crappy video.
Yeah.
Actually, the video wasn't that bad, but I remember because we were driving and I'm like, is this it? It's just like a road. We're like, oh, I'll just see where it goes.
Yeah, it's like this dirt road almost. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I love driving through the States.
Yeah.
I just love it. So.
That's a great area too. It's all.
I did a drive of, I called it my Fall New Vegas trip. So I was at a bachelorette party and I left because I'm so lame. And I rented like a Mustang by myself and I drove like all these spots that you could go to in the game, like Red Rock Canyon and Nipton. And I saw the roller coaster.
Wow, that's cool.
It was cool. It was neat anyway.
Yeah, that's cool. My wife and I actually thought about doing that. We went out to Utah last June.
Oh, cool.
And we actually ended up seeing the Napoleon Dynamite filming locations. And we were like,
I would love that.
Yeah, and we were like, we should take a detour and go through Nevada and see the Fallout things. But it was kind of last minute and we didn't really plan it. But yeah, that would be really cool to see all that stuff.
It took about 7 hours.
Wow.
And I drove pretty fast. Like,
well, you had a Mustang. So.
I was like, at one point I went to Good Springs, and at one point there was just like this road that had nothing on it, and I was just like, let's see how fast this thing can go. And it was fun, and then some Jeeps overtook me somehow, and I was like, how is this happening? But I mean, it was a very stock Mustang. It had like nothing. It didn't even have like anything fancy in it. It wasn't even standard, so I was like, all right. Yeah, cool. My illegal driving. I just won't talk about that anymore.
You're in Canada, so it's fine.
That's true. They can't get me.
Yeah, they can't get you. All right. Well, I think that's all the topics we had. It's a pretty good week news-wise. We had some good stuff in there. Of course, on the website, we have a lot more, like you mentioned, your Snowpiercer write-up. There's tons of Attack on Titan stuff that Stephanie's doing. What's funny, I talk about this on the last episode too, but our Discord, our most popular and most active room is the Attack on Titans room. I mean, people talk about theories in there. They talk about, the latest episode, and a lot of times they leave spoilers out, but it's pretty cool. If you're into that, it's definitely a good place to talk to, other viewers. Check that out. And then of course we have the whole rest of our Discord. Yeah. The whole rest of our Discord is anything, any kind of topics you could talk about, books and movies and TV shows and all that stuff. So it's a good time. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. I want to thank everyone for listening, and make sure you check us out on social media. Check us out at postapocalyptic.com, where we have all of this stuff. I'll have show notes for this where I'll have links to all the stories we talked about. And as always, I want to remind everyone to stay alive out there and always be ready for the big one.
The asteroid this time.